The hoi hoi. Sure, yes, it's great to be back, amazing, great. But to make sure that this channel comes back with a bang, let's start by talking about something super important. Poop trucks. You're probably familiar with the Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building, but this monument to excess has, well, a lot of problems with it. But one key problem is that it's not hooked up to any municipal sewage system at all. Instead, the poop that is created by thousands of people who walk through the halls of that building every single day has to be manually carted out from the bottom of the building by poop trucks. You'd have thought with all the money that they spent on that building that they may have thought of a better solution than having a bunch of poop trucks carry all the poop out every single day. Well, unlike the people who designed this setup, we as sound designers are actually looking for better solutions on how to do things. We want to make better sound design, faster, without nearly as much trial and error. Well, while that's what we're going to talk about in this video, we won't solve a problem that's as monumentous as needing hundreds of poop trucks every single day, but we will have better solutions for our sound design. A big part of making better sounds has to do with layering, which is an incredibly simple but ludicrously powerful technique when it comes to sound design. It's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. Layering involves taking sounds, stacking them on top of one another, and then exporting that combined effect into a unique sound. Sure, there's more to it than that, but that's the general gist. But how do you make the most of the layering that you do? That's where the HMLS technique comes in. HMLS stands for high, middle, low, and style. This technique means that you're including high, middle, and low frequency elements into your sound effects, into your layers, to prevent your sounds from sounding thin, weak, and lifeless. And the style layer, well, that's the special sauce that you add on top to make sure that your sound has a little more juice to it. This is usually something that has nothing to do with the sound. For example, like adding a cannon underneath a footstep. Adds a lot of character and a lot of uniqueness to the final sound. Let's take a look at some examples of this in action. Let's take a listen to some combat from Ghost of Tsushima. Notice how each of these final sounds has more than just one layer making up each of these actions. It's super satisfying. The footsteps aren't just soft one-layer pads, but have gravel underneath, metallic shings of the armor, sword impacts aren't just dinky metal on metal sounds, there are multiple sounds playing at once to give us more character with these sounds. We could even look at gunshots from Call of Duty. As you can tell, these guns are more than just one layer. Gunshots don't sound this beefy in real life. To Hollywoodize these, we have to layer. We have to make sure that these sounds are created by a sandwich of multiple sounds to make something more unique and beefy on the other end. Now, to get these results, we can use the HMLS technique. To use the HMLS technique, all you need to do is take your sounds and make sure you're including at least one layer of each type. High, middle, low, and style. And you can definitely have more than one of each type too, that's for sure. But let's walk you through that with a gunshot. Now in this gunshot, I'm using free sounds from the Sonus GDC pack, which you can download below and get totally for free. Note how I'm not even processing these. No panning, no effects, just volume adjustments, and it sounds pretty good for making this in just 5 minutes. So to practice this HMLS technique, just grab a 5-second clip from a game or movie or wherever else, strip the audio, and throw in some layers. Use high, medium, and low frequencies, add in some style layers too if you want to on top, and bam, you have a more unique, thick sound. But I can hear you now. But Akash, you toast a Nutella-dipped chocolate strawberry. Do I need to do this on every single sound? No, and not every sound has a ton of layers in them, but a lot do, and it's a great starting point with all of your sounds, especially if you want to make sure that you don't get blank DAW syndrome and don't know what to do. Just remember that this HMLS thing is relative. A sound that sounds high in one context might be middle or low in another. It's all relative to the sound that you're creating. And the style layers can be anything. If you think the sound of an accordion will work with your car engine rev, go for it. So, as long as it sounds good, it is good. So let's go over what we talked about today. Firstly, layering is what gives our sounds that special, thick, satisfying feeling. Number 2, the HMLS technique, high, middle, low, and style, is a great place to start when it comes to designing our sound. Thirdly, high, middle, and low are relative. It depends on the sound you're making. So these aren't hard and fast labels that we're using for each of our layers. And number 4, our style layer is just something extra that we add for extra juice and uniqueness on top. It can literally be anything. And number 5, poop trucks are a thing. Now, if you like this video, you know what to do. And if you want to see a super in-depth video of the layering I did for the game Hyper Light Drifter, you can just click this video right here, and you can see how I used 15 layers just to make one sword attack in that game, which is a pretty common thing to do. And with that, that's the end of this video. I'll talk to you soon. Now let's all go pet a dog.